Good evening from the State of Kuwait. Welcome to the 7 o'clock news for Thursday, the 30th of April 2015. I am Dalia Badran with the headlines for tonight. His Excellency the Prime Minister of New Zealand concludes an official visit to the State of Kuwait. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister heads Kuwait's delegation at the GCC ministerial meeting in Riyadh. An allegiance ceremony is held for the Crown Prince and Deputy Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia following their appointment. The Arab coalition carries out new airstrikes against Houthi targets as it delivers guns and ammunition to the popular resistance in Yemen. Hello and welcome. The Prime Minister of New Zealand, John Key, and his accompanying delegation left Kuwait today following a two-day official visit that came at the invitation of His Highness Sheikh Jaber al-Mubarak al-Hamad al-Sabah, the Prime Minister. The visiting Premier was seen off at Kuwait International Airport by the head of the accompanying Mission of Honor and Advisor at His Highness the Prime Minister's Diwan, Sheikh Dr. Salim al-Jaber al-Ahmad al-Sabah, member of the accompanying Mission of Honor and Advisor at His Highness the Prime Minister's Diwan, Sheikh Dr. Rasha Hamoud al-Jaber al-Sabah, and Kuwait's Ambassador to New Zealand, Ahmed Badr al-Ruzugi. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister, Sheikh Sabah al-Khalid al-Hamad al-Sabah, chairs the State of Kuwait's delegation to the preparatory meeting of the GCC Ministerial Council due today in Riyadh. The meeting discussed a host of vital topics relevant to the GCC March, in addition to regional developments, especially in Yemen. The outcome of the Riyadh meeting will be submitted to the 15th GCC Consultative Summit due on May 5, 2015 in the Saudi capital. An allegiance ceremony was held at the Royal Palace in Riyadh, endorsing His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef as Crown Prince and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman as Deputy Crown Prince, as His Royal Highness Prince Migran bin Abdulaziz Al Saud was first to pledge allegiance. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, issued a royal decree accepting the request of the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Prince Migran bin Abdulaziz, to relieve him of his post and appoint His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef as Crown Prince, Deputy Premier, Minister of Interior and Chairman of the Political and Security Affairs Council. The decree also stated the appointment of His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman as Deputy Crown Prince, Second Deputy Premier, Minister of Defense and Chairman of the Economic and Development Affairs Council. Head of the GCC mission in Brussels, Ambassador Amal Al-Hamad, emphasized today the importance of the strategic relationship between the 28-member EU and the 6-member Gulf Cooperation Council. In a statement to Kuwait news agency, Al-Hamad noted that the GCC looks forward to coordinate with the EU to find solutions to establish peace and security in the Middle East region, referring to both sides are due to hold two significant meetings next week in Brussels to address these issues. Fresh airstrikes from the Arab coalition successfully targeted a number of Houthi rebels' locations in 5 districts, including Aden. Coalition forces also delivered guns, ammunition in different areas in Taiz, which is controlled by the Popular Resistance. Meanwhile, the Popular Resistance announced that it took control of Aden airport and killed tens of Houthi rebels and forces loyal to deposed President Ali Abdullah Saleh during clashes inside the airport. In Aden, eyewitnesses said Houthi snipers killed 12 civilians. On the political front, the Yemeni government said it will hand in a request to join the Cooperation Council for the Arab states of the Gulf next month. Iran's foreign minister offered assurances that Tehran is committed to maintaining freedom of navigation in the Gulf in the aftermath of the seizure of a commercial ship by Iranian forces a day earlier. Iranian authorities seized the Maersk Tigris container ship belonging to the Danish shipping company Maersk in the Strait of Hormuz. On nuclear negotiations, Zarif said senior foreign ministry officials and deputy foreign ministers from Iran and 6 powers would resume negotiations on a final nuclear deal today. He added that the negotiators would begin drafting a final nuclear agreement, which is aimed at lifting sanctions in exchange for curbs on sensitive atomic work. The United Nations Libya mediator said it was difficult to be optimistic that a peace deal could be reached, but the aim was to try to broker agreement on a unity government before the holy month of Ramadan starts. The mediator briefed the UN Security Council on the conflict, explaining that he paves the parties a third draft of a possible agreement this week, and they are due to respond by Sunday. Internationally recognized Prime Minister Abdullah Al-Thani, his government and the elected parliament have been confined to eastern Libya since militants seized Tripoli in August, set up its own administration and reinstated an assembly. He said once he received the party's reaction to the latest draft, he hoped to be able to schedule a new round of talks in the coming weeks. A teenage boy was rescued after surviving for 5 days in the rubble of a building following an earthquake that killed some 5,500 people in Nepal. Rescuers brought the boy out of the rubble in the capital Kathmandu and took him to a field hospital. Nepalese rescuers, with support from an American disaster response team, had been working for hours to free the teenager, who police said was 18 years old. Meanwhile, Nepalese officials said bad weather hampered the delivery of relief to remote villages. Outside the capital, the relief effort relied heavily on helicopters, with mountainous roads blocked by landslides triggered by the earthquake. Hundreds of people protested in New York and Boston over the death of a man in Baltimore who was critically injured in police custody. Thousands of people packed streets in Baltimore and several other cities, including Boston, New York, Indianapolis, and Washington, D.C., to demand reforms to police procedures. While protests over the death of Freddie Gray were mostly peaceful, there were some arrests, including 16 in Baltimore and at least 60 in New York. Gray was critically injured in police custody and died earlier this month. Under the patronage of the Minister of Education and Higher Education, Dr. Badr Al-Isa, the 5th International Symposium organized by the Women's Research and Studies Center, Kuwait University, in cooperation with the UNDP Kuwait under the title, The Role of Civil Society Organizations in Empowering Women, kicked off, and reporter Ghanwa Jabouri was there and reporting.
Women play an integral role in society. They hold key positions in a number of domains, such as the political arena, the finance sector, the educational arena, and many more. They are mothers, daughters, and sisters, and friends, raising generations while also having strong, resonating voices in their society and even globally.
I think it's a good opportunity for NGOs from all over the world to meet, to build bridges, learn from best practices of those who have succeeded, because in the end we all believe that empowering women is enhancing development, and that's why we are hoping that in this conference we can learn from how they have helped to empower women legally, economically and socially. So I think in the end it would be a very good conference.
Women have achieved outstanding results in both social and voluntary domains through their participation in the activities of civil organizations, stated the Minister of Education and Higher Education, Dr. Badr Al-Isa, in an inaugural speech during the forum.
There is a very good dynamic to empower women in every field, political field, economic field, and even actually since I'm in charge of a workshop on media and how to deal with women issues. There is also a very good dynamic in this field actually. So we are going forward many steps in the Kuwaiti women's status as Arab women's status, but actually and since the environment changed a lot and there is a lot of new actors in our political landscape and our economic landscape and our media landscape, we are afraid about all that women succeed to do till now and all what government pushed to do for women and all what civil societies did for women till now. So we have to be careful about this status to manage it, to go forward with other realizations in order to keep the woman as a key actor in development, because development actually needs all the actors, men, women, youth, teenager, young women, young men.
The forum witnessed a number of women experts and educators come from across the region to attend the conference that is expected to continue over the span of 3 days. The 5th International Symposium highlighted the role of civil society organizations in empowering women. From Kuwait University, I'm Ghanwa Jabouri reporting to you for the English News.
Thank you, Ghanwa. Kuwait Stock Exchange ended this week's trading with gains for all three main indices. KESX 15 earned 8.29 points, recording 1,059.73 points. And the weighted index won nearly 4 points, reaching 435.05 points. The price index gained 0.77 points, reaching 6,377 points. Kuwait Association for Social Workers held their first official meeting as a critical step in determining their goals and strategies, as well as their professional tasks in the country. The gathering was attended by a number of researchers, specialists, and social workers who hailed such a meeting that took place at Salim Al Ali Hall in Qurtuba area. Hiba Abdurrahman was there and has this report.
For the first time, the Kuwait Social Workers Society organized its first gathering with the presence of many researchers and experts in the field. The gathering took place at Salim Al Ali Hall in Qurtuba area with the aim of defining the role of the body, its goals and responsibilities, in addition to its strategies.
Today we are gathering at the Kuwaiti Association of Social Workers. This is the second event for the association since its immigration in last October of 2014. Today we're gathering to announce it's a social gathering for all the members, and we have roughly 150 to 200 members, which is great percentage since we're just started getting the memberships. Today we're trying to get all the members involved in the different committees at the association, so we can actually start doing the job that we promised our members to do so. So we're gathering here to have new memberships as well as the continuing ones.
During the gathering, the specialists affirmed that the profession of the social worker in Kuwait is about to vanish because of the lack of interest, as well as the interference by other professions who want to be part of such an entity. From Salim Al Ali Hall in Qurtuba area, I am Hab Abdurrahman reporting for English News.
The National Council for Culture, Arts and Letters recently opened the 5th annual East and West Art Exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art. The event offers foreign artists in Kuwait an opportunity to showcase their pieces while living abroad. The event intends to celebrate the different art mediums and themes from across the world, all under one roof. Reporter Badreya Al-Saleh brings us the report.
Kuwait's Museum of Modern Art recently opened Colors from East and West, an art exhibition hosting the work of foreign artists living right here in the state of Kuwait. This marks the 5th annual year of the return of the exhibition under the patronage of the National Council for Culture, Arts and Letters.
We are happy in the National Council to have the opening of the 5th exhibition for the committee, the different committee from all over the world who is living in Kuwait. They are participating, especially those artists who are waiting for this exhibition every year to participate. We noticed this year that the number of the artists is expanded, and also the kind of work is become more, more different about what we have it on the last 4 years. So this will encourage us to keep this exhibition to be every year, and we are trying to have more participation from different artists who is living in Kuwait.
I would like to get known in Kuwait for the type of art that I do. I think it's kind of unique in some ways, and everybody's got their own style, so it's a different kind of style to what I see around. So I'm hoping that it'll just mix things up a little bit and show what I can do.
The event features a variety of styles and mediums of art, from airbrush to still life to sculpted masterpieces. Artists from Europe, the United States, and other Arab countries all participated in the event that they say they look forward to each year.
Because I'm using for acrylic paint and airbrush. The airbrush is I'm using air, not brush, whatever. Air with airbrush, I use it in my hand is floating, like this, kind of like that.
1 month all work. I am a sculptor. This is sculpture. I make long time because his hand all work handmade. Okay, this metal work.
The exhibition is on display at the Museum of Modern Art through the end of the month.
Each year, the Colors from East and West exhibition reflects the power of art and its ability to transcend cultural boundaries and connect our diverse community where other means are unable. At the Modern Art Museum, I'm Badreya Al-Saleh reporting for the English News.
Thank you, Badria. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Before we end, here is a quick reminder of today's headlines. His Excellency the Prime Minister of New Zealand concludes an official visit to the State of Kuwait. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister heads Kuwait's delegation at the GCC ministerial meeting in Riyadh. An allegiance ceremony is held for the Crown Prince and Deputy Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia following their appointment. The Arab coalition carries out new airstrikes against Houthi targets as it delivers guns and ammunition to the popular resistance in Yemen.